In the quiet of the night, here is our hero, Asano Shinichirou. He was on his way home from school when a suspicious woman crossed his path. Then suddenly she showed him all her goods. Asano couldn't move. He thought he was delicious, but he was the food here. She suddenly transformed into a giant hornet and grabbed Asano, and he thought he was about to meet his grandparents. Suddenly a sword pierced the monster's head. Before he could react, it had already eaten another one, and then his legs went cold. Asano still didn't understand what had just happened. He looked around and saw a hidden girl standing on the roof. The next day at school, Asano was still surprised by what had just happened. At this time, Asano's friend, Miss Bo, asked what happened. Asano was about to tell, but he didn't think anyone would believe it, so he stopped. At school while walking, Asano accidentally touched a golden-haired girl. The girl also led to his feet and then left. Asano looked at the figure very familiarly. Miss Bo said that was Sakuya Shimazu, a candidate like Book B, besides being a street vendor. Her father is also a big shot. Then Asano went to the medical teacher to ask her about finding him a part-time job. He likes to clean up and is good at cooking. The teacher immediately said why not hire her. But Asano didn't think it was a job, so she asked him to go to the chemistry lab to work. It was work, but in fact it was because she was too lazy to clean up, so she called him over here while cleaning. Asano saw a cat looking at him. He didn't care and continued to clean up. After a while, it was also clean. At this time there was a scream outside. Asano immediately ran out to check. There was an injured girl lying motionless on the ground. At this time a monster appeared in front of him again. But for some reason it ran away. Asano couldn't let it go and hurt others, so he chased after it. Ran outside, and there was another scream of a girl when Asano arrived. I saw her hand being nailed to the tree by a sword. She asked him to pull it out, and she would definitely be rewarded. Hearing that, Asano immediately pulled it out, when he just pulled it out. Then, Sakuya appeared. She was sure that Asano would have a hard time catching her, when Sakuya was about to catch her again. Of course, Asano didn't let her do that until the girl transformed into a monster. Then Asano knew the truth. Then the monster escaped. Sakuya was furious and blamed Asano. She also knew his name because she couldn't forget the face of her enemy. But now Asano didn't listen and just ignored her. Sakuya was furious and grabbed his hand. Then the two of them set out to find her, because Sakuya had set up a barrier under the headmaster, so she couldn't escape. On the way, Sakuya also explained the situation. They are called demons, spirits, ghosts, and come from the underworld. They attack humans to survive in this world and take their lives. And the job of the Shimazu clan is to capture and seal them since the Kamakura period. And Sakuya is also the 37th generation head of the Shimazu clan. There is no one in the school now, so don't worry. Sakuya's barrier cannot be passed by ordinary people, but Asano doesn't know why he can enter. Those who are injured will be healed by the priest. At this moment, Sakuya suddenly turned and stabbed Asano in the back. The demon made him jump out of the window in pain. The two of them hurriedly chased after him and caught her, but she insisted that she didn't do it. Sakuya didn't care and was about to kill her. Asano stopped her because her wound looked like it was cut rather than stabbed. At this moment, a lightning bolt struck down from the sky, and a two-headed demon appeared. It was a thunder beast, a demon that manipulates lightning, a rare type of demon. Then the thunder beast started to attack. Sakuya dodged and started to fight back, but her sword was useless against it. On the contrary, the thunder beast absorbed all the electricity around it, then became larger. It continued to attack, and in a strange way, Sakuya sat on Asano's face. It continued to attack, making her lose all her clothes. Sakuya began to fight back, but it didn't penetrate her head. The thunder beast caught her, and began to suck her life force in exchange for pleasure. At this time, Asano needed a stick to attack the thunder beast. I thought it wouldn't work, but it did. Asano freed Sakuya in return. He was also badly injured when the thunder beast was about to finish off both of them. The demon from before appeared to help Asano. The thunder beast took another lightning bolt. Asano shielded Sakuya, and accidentally kissed her. Suddenly a series of memories flashed through his mind. Sakuya slapped him because it was her first kiss. At this time Sakuya's body began to glow. She felt her strength was increasing. Although she didn't know what happened, she was sure that she would win this time. Then Sakuya used the last spell of the Shimazu clan to shoot a spear into the head of the thunder beast and end it. Asano happily ran over, and forgot that Sakuya was naked. She still hadn't realized it. She just sealed it again. The other demon asked to live, so she used a spell to go first. She and Sakuya easily let her go. Asano asked why Sakuya did that. Simply because she was a demon. They need to suck human life force to survive in this world. They are a threat to humans. She took Asano as a hostage. Although she felt guilty, she had no choice. She asked Sakuya to put down her weapon. Although she didn't want to, she still owed Asano. So she also gave up. Sakuya wished she knew her true name. Because if she knew, she could control the demon. Then she kissed Asano goodbye. At this moment another series of memories flashed through his mind. And Asano also knew the name of this demon girl was Tama. Grasping the situation, Sakuya began to prepare to end her. Tama begged Asano for her life. He also tried to persuade Sakuya. After thinking for a while, she also decided to let her go. Because anyway, I got my name. Tama couldn't escape. Tama happily kissed Asano on the face. Then everyone went home. At this time, Asano and Sakuya both had a question. The first is, why is this place so messy, and why does Tama keep clinging to Asano when Sakuya is her master? But Tama doesn't listen and clings to Asano more. Sakuya was about to get up and separate them, but was stopped by Miss Siko. Do whatever you want. Change your clothes first. While waiting for Sakuya to change, everyone had a conversation. In general, Miss Siko has a relationship with the Shimazu clan, and she also has the task of protecting the heir Sakuya. So Sakuya lives alone, and is very lonely. So Siko wants to replace Asano here. Because he's very good at cooking, likes to be clean and is very good at cleaning. Whatever you say, Asano can't stand this place anymore. Then he also started to clean up. Somewhere, there was a hidden person chanting a spell. The next day at school, while talking to Miss Bo, Sakuya came and called him away. A new bridge has opened. It connects this world with another world. Demons also come here through it, but Asano doesn't care about these demons. She and Sakuya also asked him to follow, because they had kissed someone's first kiss, and it wasn't easy to wait for them to escape. At this time in the dressing room, there was another hidden gaze. Then the two of them went to the chemistry room. As soon as they opened the door, Asano was possessed by a ghost. Sakuya immediately asked her to go home, but the ghost only obeyed the first person to call her name. That's natural because even Sakuya has another name. Because when her real name is discovered, they must be under the control of the caller and must obey orders. Then Sakuya told Asano to call the ghost and to go. But there was a supervisor here to supervise, so he didn't think it was a big deal. The ghost happily flew into Asano. He found out that she wasn't wearing any underwear. At this time, a giant rat appeared from the women's dressing room. Following the screams, everyone immediately went to check. The rats were gnawing at the bodies of the people. When Asano's group arrived, they only saw them spinning around the ground. Siko said that it was a drug, and that they were being sucked of their life force while they were immersed in the illusion. Then a mysterious figure appeared with a rat, which scared Sakuya because she was afraid of rats and cockroaches, and her house was dirty. Tama rushed to attack, and the mysterious figure immediately ran out the window to escape. Tama chased after him and Asano tried to stop Sakuya, but he couldn't. When Siko reminded her of the position of the chief that she held, Sakuya calmed down and followed Tama. When she arrived, Tama had already fainted due to the loss of her life force. At this rate, she would disappear. Asano couldn't keep giving her his life force because he would also die from exhaustion. The only way was to feed Tama other monsters so that she could absorb their life force. Suddenly, the ground opened up, taking them both to a cave. At this time, the mysterious figure appeared again. Sakuya wanted to attack, but the rats appeared and distracted her. Then, one flew straight into her face, causing her to faint. Tama also used her remaining strength to protect Asano. Of course, it was no match for him, and then he transformed into a monstrous form. Asano asked Tama to suck his life force. If he had the heart, she would too. Tama began to suck Asano's life force, and after sucking it, Tama felt her body fill with power. She transformed into a different form, and with just one spell, she finished off the monster. She also caught the mysterious figure. Then everyone went home so that the doctor could examine Asano's body. For an ordinary person, it would take days to recover, but he was able to recover in just a few hours. This meant that Asano had a lot of life force and had the potential to become a demon. In other words, he was like a KRTM, who absorbed the life force of others. Later, at dinner, Tama gave Asano a name. Because she had to keep her identity a secret, he gave Tama a different name, Tamako, which he thought was cute. Outside, the doctor was reporting the situation to someone. The next day, Asano's belongings were delivered. From now on, he would live there to focus on his training. Even though Sakuya strongly opposed it, it was as if she didn't exist. Then, the three of them went to the school where a demon was holding a girl captive. Sakuya demanded that it release the hostage. Of course, it didn't, and Sakuya began to attack. However, it used the girl as a shield. Then, it began to absorb her life force, and the blood from the girl dripped down, creating more small trees. If nothing was done, it would become even more dangerous. At this time, an attack suddenly came from above, striking both the girl and the demon. It was Sakuya's younger sister, Sima Susuri. Then, Susuri asked Masuti to heal the girl. Fortunately, her life was not in danger. Susuri said that she should not have used magic when attacking the demon. If there was a hostage, she should have just pretended to surrender. However, she also said that fighting was necessary in life. Then, everyone talked together. Susuri thought that Sakuya had changed and was willing to keep a demon girl in her house. She also used magic to kill demons. Then, Susuri asked Sakuya to give Asano to her. Of course, Sakuya refused, as she was the temporary chief of the clan. However, Susuri still didn't accept it. Asano asked Sika what was going on. Sakuya was only the temporary chief of the clan. However, the official decision would be made after both of them had grown up. Until then, they were rivals in this competition. Many people in the clan didn't think highly of Sakuya, and they preferred Susuri. Then, Siko asked Asano who he wanted to choose. In a difficult situation, Asano quickly said that he was going to take a bath. While he was taking a bath, Sakuya suddenly came in and wanted to scrub his back. Outside, Sakuya waited for him, but he never came out. In fact, Susuri had secretly taken Asano away. She was going to take him to Kamakura. Asano asked why, and she simply said that she needed him. Her recovery required a lot of life force, and if Asano was with her, she could recover her spiritual power and defeat her sister. Of course, she would also give Asano what he wanted. At this time, the car was suddenly taken to another dimension, which had probably collapsed. Susuri asked the driver to stop and check. It was useless to run. Suddenly, many monsters appeared and attacked. As if standing in front of a firing squad, the driver easily destroyed them all. At this time, a special car appeared. It absorbed the driver and became extremely powerful, and it was called the Demon Car. The driver continued to attack, but this time it seemed useless, and he was swallowed up. Then, it began to attack Asano's group. The monsters that Susuri had summoned were also easily destroyed. The only way was for Asano to transfer his life force to Susuri, which would give her a chance to defeat it. It was very difficult, but there was no other way. When the two were about to kiss, Sakuya arrived. An arrow finished off the monster. While the two sisters were arguing, the car short-circuited and exploded. Everyone jumped out of the car. However, the monster was still alive, and began to crush the car that contained the group. Inside the car, the situation was very tense. Susuri wanted him to kiss her to solve the problem. However, Asano couldn't move. But now, Sakuya didn't want to do it because Asano was now acting irrationally. Then they both turned to each other. Outside, the monster squeezed harder and harder, and the two accidentally kissed. Sakuya's memories flashed through Asano's mind, and he gained her power. Sakuya used a spell to finish off the monster. The group also escaped from the hidden dimension. As soon as they got outside, the two of them started arguing again. At this time, Susuri came over and asked Sakuya to give Asano to her. Of course, she refused. Susuri said that because of Sakuya's selfishness, many people in the clan didn't support her, and that was why Sakuya had left to prove how strong she was. Susuri couldn't lose in this battle for power. At this time, someone was watching them from afar. The next day when the two of them went to school, Susuri also came. She had also just transferred there. Needless to say, the boys were immediately attracted to her, especially her big breasts. In the homeroom, Sakuya asked Susuri what her plan was. She didn't beat around the bush and said that it was because of Asano and some other things. Why were there so many portals opening up at this school? Susuri had checked the surroundings and found a real haunted room where people would really get into trouble. If someone really intended to summon a demon, Sakuya didn't know about it. Susuri thought that even if she did know, she wouldn't tell anyone. It was nothing new for people to suspect Sakuya. Sakuya suddenly slapped Susuri. In the afternoon, while cleaning up, Asano also thought that Sakuya had gone too far. Sakuya angrily said that there were people in the main clan who didn't want her to become the next chief. Maybe they thought she had many shortcomings, but she didn't care. She just needed to seal all the demons to show them how strong she was. They would have no choice but to acknowledge her. That night, Sakuya was still thinking about Susuri's words. Somewhere, a group of demons was fighting a demon wearing samurai armor. They immediately attacked, but it was useless, because it was immortal, and easily defeated them all. Sakuya had received the information, and Susuri was also fighting it. When she cut off its arm, it grew back and continued to attack. When she cut it into pieces, it finally stopped. At this time, Sakuya had also arrived. The samurai had also recovered, and he began to summon more of them. The two sisters attacked together. However, each of Sakuya's spells didn't have much effect, because the monsters easily dodged them. Then, the group was surrounded. At this time, Susuri wanted Sakuya to kiss her to gain her power. Of course, Sakuya refused. Susuri begged her, but she didn't want to do it this way. Then, Sakuya told Sano to distract him so that she could find an opening and defeat him. According to the plan, Sano and Tama easily distracted the leader. While he was distracting him, a monster suddenly appeared under his feet. He thought that this time he was finished. Sakuya had also found the point of the arrow and shot the leaf on the hat, causing the group to stop. Before they could try to meditate, the hidden woman appeared. She did something to make the samurai stand up again, and they couldn't be knocked down, so everyone retreated. Susuri said it was a golem, so magic wouldn't work. It was a puppet that moved by putting spiritual power into it, and the truth was probably written on the helmet. It meant truth in Hebrew, and it was also the spell used to activate the golem. Someone had created it. It didn't come from another world. The golem was a product of black magic, and the way to defeat it was simple. If the letter E, which provided the golem with spiritual power, was changed to Met, which meant death, it would be defeated. However, it couldn't be attacked from a distance, so it had to be done by hand. Then Sakuya gave Asano a vegetable, and he was told that he would be given a plan. Tama would lure the soldiers away for Susuri to deal with, and Sakuya would create smoke for Asano. He would approach and easily change the letter E, and the golem would stop. At this time, Sakuya headed to the katana, and she picked it up and was suddenly controlled. The katana contained a huge amount of spiritual power, and anyone who held it would have their consciousness taken over. The Western sorcerer also appeared. And the person behind all this, she would let everyone kill each other, and then Saruya was completely taken over. And she began to attack Asano. Tama tried to stop her, but she was blown away with a single sword strike. Susuri planned to kill her sister right here and now, but Asano stopped her. Sakuya continued to attack Asano when the sword touched his mouth. Her past played through his mind again, and with just one thought, the katana was released, and Sakuya regained consciousness. She immediately attacked her, but it was no use. She didn't even fight back and just walked away. Everyone gathered to discuss a strategy to capture the Western sorcerer. They needed a powerful ally, and that was Asano, because he had the ability to determine the nature of others. It was not a common ability. So it could be said that Asano was the chosen one, and that could also be the reason why he had such a large amount of spiritual power. And the condition for activation was to kiss. Then Asano would know the nature of that person. Siko asked Asano what he saw when he kissed Sakuya. He was about to say it, but when he saw her face at that moment, so he swallowed it. At Sakuya's house she also made a lot of rules, but they shouldn't be used together. If so, it could be considered an indirect kiss. Although it was very unreasonable, Asano had to endure it, as a public servant. After school, there was an announcement that 2 new students had transferred. At Siko's place, she had also added a group of love interests, and she had chosen Asano as a student. Although Sakuya wanted to object, this was an order from her grandmother. Since she was a Western sorcerer, she couldn't be careless. What Sakuya needed to do now was to catch the enemy as soon as possible, and seal them. When she went outside, Sushuri asked if Sakuya really wanted to do this. Sakuya wanted to deal with the Western sorcerer herself without anyone's help, including Asano Toei. At the team's place, they found an object with an unusual aura. When they examined it, it suddenly sucked the girl in. When they pulled her out, she was already dead. The other two were also sucked in. At Asano's place, as he was walking up the stairs, he met Sakuya, and they looked at each other awkwardly. Sakuya hurriedly moved away, and accidentally tripped. Fortunately, Asano caught her in time, but he caught her right on her chest, causing Sakuya to blush and struggle. They both fell down the stairs, and somehow she ended up sitting on his face again and on top of him. The Western sorcerer had just performed some kind of spell, and the demonic energy was so strong that all the students fainted. Even Masuki's spell couldn't cure it. A barrier had enveloped the entire school. Asano and Sakuya ran to the rooftop to catch her. At this time, the Western sorcerer used Sakuya's body as a hostage, but at this time she didn't care about anyone else but the Western sorcerer. Sakuya kept shooting arrows at her. Of course, it was useless. Asano was trying to save the other three. He asked for Sakuya's help, but she was like a robot and only focused on attacking. Then Asano was gradually caught by it. Fortunately, Tama arrived just in time to save him. Sushuri's group also arrived. Sushuri attacked the monster, but it was useless because it had already escaped deep into the school. Something with as much destructive power as Sakuya's arrows was needed. Asano asked for Sakuya's help. She had no choice but to shoot a series of arrows to finish off the monster, but it managed to drag the Western sorcerer inside. Suddenly, a small bird appeared and flew around. Sushuri said this was normal when fighting monsters. When the monster was destroyed, the bird would return to its normal form. Needless to say, the hostages were not saved. Sakuya was furious, and the three Western sorcerers laughed out loud. Siko said that there were still many people in the investigation team, so everyone had to go and find them. When she heard this, the witch's face turned green. There wasn't much time to grieve. Asano told Sakuya that there were still many people who needed to be saved. They regained their spirits and set off. When they entered the gymnasium, 3 people had been captured. Asano was too hasty and got caught. The others couldn't escape either. The witch appeared again, this time with a monster. When Sakuya shot it, it was blocked by the weapon and became even stronger. At this time, she gave up. She thought that perhaps this was a punishment for her for letting her family down. The monster also began to absorb her spiritual power. It also began to attack both of them. The witch didn't want them to die right away, but wanted them to suffer through pain and misery, simply because she was a member of the Mitsuki family. Sushuri said that the 2 of them needed to kiss to escape, but Sakuya refused. It wasn't that she was selfish or anything. She just didn't want Asano to know her true nature, but there was no other way. Sakuya told Asano to promise not to reveal her nature because she was the head of the Mizaki family. Asano promised her. At this time, he learned about Sakuya's past. When she was young, her body was weak, so everyone in the family thought she couldn't take on the responsibility of the family head. At this time, someone gave Sakuya a bird with a broken beak. It was a lucky bird that would protect people from illness and disaster. And the name of this bird was ISUCA. Sakuya had regained her spiritual power. She broke free and immediately attacked the monster. The next day, Sakuya didn't care about Asano. She ate and went to school. Seeing that Sakuya didn't take her lunch, Asano called her name to get it. At this time, Sakuya stopped. Because Asano already knew her true nature, she had to obey his orders and take the lunch. Sakuya angrily declared that she would never obey anyone's orders again. Asano also felt very angry. At school, Siko also talked about Sakuya's problem. She was afraid of losing her position as head of the family. As the head, she was not allowed to reveal her nature and submit to anyone. If she did, she would be expelled from the family. Siko hoped that Asano would always be by Sakuya's side even in the worst case. And so, in the following days, Sakuya kept avoiding Asano and he could only watch her from afar. At this time, Sushuri came. She told him that he didn't need to feel guilty about kissing Sakuya because if he hadn't done it then, everyone would have been in trouble. Then she tried to lure Asano back to her, but he refused because these things weren't enough to make him give up. Susuri also reported the situation to the family, and then the family had a meeting to discuss how to deal with Sakuya Shimazu. When school was over, the two of them went home together. Then they passed by a place to enjoy the scenery. Asano felt very guilty because of his actions. It had caused Sakuya to lose her right to inherit. He didn't know why she wanted the right to inherit so much, but he really felt guilty and bowed his head to apologize to Sakuya. Sakuya also told him about her past. He was very fond of places where he could see the sea. Both his father and mother had died 8 years ago when they went to kill a monster and never returned. Siko and his grandmother who went with them were also badly injured, but they did not tell him what had happened right away. And it was taboo to talk about his mother in the clan. Because his mother was a Western magician, it was very rare for an outsider to join the Shimazu clan, although there were exceptions like her. In order to make the clan stronger, they had to marry someone in the clan, even if it was in Japan. The top magician clans still did this to maintain their power over the centuries. Of course, the appearance of a Western magician caused a backlash in the clan. It was worse than Asano could have imagined, and she, the child of both of them, would always be considered a disgrace to the clan. No one told her what had happened to her mother, whether they were alive or not. She needed to know. So she needed to become the chief of the Shimazu clan. She would make them recognize her and find her mother. Then the two received a gift from Takiharu, and Asako opened it to check and found a mirror. Then suddenly, it lit up, and took both of them inside. And inside it was even more amazing, because Asako met her mother, but another version of her appeared to fight both of them. Outside, Matsuki checked. The mirror here is a mirror, a kind of monster that buries deep negative emotions in the heart, and uses them to lead with their hearts. There is only one way to escape. They have to defeat the monster from within, but inside it is more and more scratched. The more the monster is scratched, the more the monster can do the same. Both arrows and touches create an explosion, and the one behind it is none other than the witch. The nose was trying to stir up hatred for Asako's clan when she almost accepted to become one with the other, but Asano stopped it. This is not her true nature. The person he knows is a strong and gentle girl. But the monster asks to talk about hatred. No matter what happens, he will always be by her side. Asako regains her spirits. Asano also takes the opportunity to catch the oath, and learns that her nature is that she is a beautiful girl. Then Asako used the trick to defeat the monster. Both of them also tied up. Then she burst into tears. Asano hugged her, and promised to go with her to find her mother. At school, when it was time to go home, Asako waited for Asano to come home together. And when he got home, he saw the ghost wearing nothing, and then took out all of Asako's clothes and spread them out. She was very angry and wanted to kill the ghost, but fortunately Asano stopped her, but accidentally tripped and fell on Asako. She was so embarrassed that she slapped him. Somewhere in hiding, the witch and a hidden person talked about not being able to kill Asako yet. When they returned to Asano's place, he still felt pain after that slap. Asako also came to apologize. Asano also took part of the blame on himself. Then Asano pushed Asako against the wall, thinking that he could kiss her, but she called him a pervert. She gave him the cursed sword that Asano had known about. He also needed a weapon to fight, and the gods above also allowed him to use it. As long as he ordered it, it would protect Asano. The next day, Asano also went straight to see others practice kendo. He was very focused, and the gourd was just being teased by people. In the afternoon, Asako was still waiting for Asano to return, when suddenly Susuri arrived. She asked her sister if it was okay, because if she kept doing this, Asano might be in danger. It's just a matter of dying on this path of love. If Asako keeps playing around like this, there will be a time when she will lose precious things, and then she will leave. On a train that was running normally, suddenly there was a group of skull-shaped monsters in front. Asano's group had also arrived. The surroundings had been blocked, and then everyone planned to go inside the train. There were many people around, but they were not dead, but only had their life force sucked out. Checking around the carriage for a while, there was nothing. So the group continued to go deeper into the tunnel. The more they went deeper, the more they discovered the group of skull-shaped monsters. They were ghosts. Of course, physical attacks had no effect, so the group had to retreat to find a way to deal with it. But it was not easy to escape like that. When they were about to reach the exit, the ghosts touched their heads, Asano as usual. Every time he touched the train, he could communicate with the air. Just activate the fire alarm. The system will activate. Asano immediately grabbed the two ghosts and rushed straight to the fire alarm system. When he was about to touch it, he was caught by it. With his last bit of strength, he pressed the fire alarm system. The air system was activated and sucked the ghosts away. Asano also passed out after that. Masuki checked and asked Asako to give him artificial respiration. There was no other way, so she did it. Seeing that Susuri used magic to find the ghost to destroy it, while searching for it, she met the witch again. Without saying much, the two began to fight. The monster easily destroyed the ghost. The witch was furious. Of course, she was very powerful. All attacks were useless. On the contrary, Susuri was badly injured after receiving her blow, while Asako, after a while of actively treating her, finally woke up. Then the group went to find Susuri. Just when they arrived, they saw that the witch had caught her. She was tired of playing and dropped her from above. Fortunately, Asano caught her in time, seeing that her sister was injured, and the witch also revealed her name as ISUCA. Asako's anger reached its peak. She poured all her spiritual power and arrows, shot straight through her armor, and slightly injured her arm, causing her to faint. Then everyone took Asako home to rest. Sakuya explained that it was because she had released the seal of the bow. It was a spiritual bow that had been passed down through many generations of the Shimazu clan. Earth, strong in converting spiritual power into strength, but also very dangerous when unsealing, because it absorbs the user's spiritual power. It is a forbidden bow. It gives the user infinite power, but that person has to trade their life. In general, everyone needs Asano to transfer spiritual power to her, so that she can wake up quickly. Then everyone went out to let Asano do it. The next day there was another meeting. The verdict was out. Asako would not be punished, even though she had revealed her nature and opened the seal on her own. But each of those names was aimed at the enemy of the clan. Although Susuri's mother refused the verdict, but Susuri accepted and asked the patriarch to allow her to perform the ritual, changing the scene while Asano was on his way to buy ingredients to make food. Then Susuri appeared and wanted to go with him. In the meat collection he had to choose the price of the various musical instruments Asako did not like because she was very picky. Susuri was surprised when her sister revealed those things, because from a young age she was taught not to reveal anything about herself to others. So they both went home. At this time Susuri noticed a cake shop. She was curious about what it was, so Sano tried a piece for her. While waiting, there was a man who accidentally bumped into her and got cake on her. Seeing that, Asano took Susuri to wash her head. While changing, he took the clothes that didn't fit Susuri, making her show off her whole body. After choosing for a while, I finally got a set that fit. Just as I was about to go out, I met the same person again. Asked to say that she was very picky, because her friend was able to go on a date with a girl by chance. Sano had to hurry to pull Susuri away, and it was not until evening that the two of them escaped. The two of them sat down and ate cake. Then it was time for Susuri to leave. She thanked Sano for a very happy day today. And also because of today, she found something she liked and went home first. Then Susuri went to the ritual right away. When she arrived, everyone was waiting for her. Everything was ready. The beast had been summoned, and it was brought to the place where Sakuya was practicing archery. Asano came and told her that she should rest a little more and then resume her practice. Before Sakuya could thank him, Tama came to inform her that there was an emergency. When she entered the shrine, she saw that Susuri was badly injured. This was the consequence of failing the ritual during the festival. It was a ritual in which she had to tame a demon beast and make it her shikigami, and no one could interfere. At this moment, Susuri was still trying to stand up to continue the ritual. Asano wanted to help her, but he was an outsider who did not belong to the Shimazu clan. Siko would also report this to the leader, and then Asano would take Sakuya's place to help Susuri complete the ritual. On the way there, Asano asked Susuri why she had to try so hard. It was simply because she wanted to surpass her sister, Sakuya, who was always so emotional and whimsical. Her sister liked to have fun and didn't like to study, but she seemed to be very happy. On the other hand, Sakuya had always been like that since she was little, while Susuri had to practice hard to become a priestess. When they arrived, the two of them started to fight. Of course, they couldn't control it at all. Asano tried to get closer to find its weakness. But it was useless, and he was badly injured. Suzuri wanted to heal him, but Asano told her to use it on herself. Then he fainted. Asano's attack at this moment created an opportunity for Suzuri. She absorbed Asano's power and healed him. Those memories flashed through Asano's mind. Suzuri also absorbed his power. She unleashed a powerful blow directly at the beast, but it was completely unharmed. Suzuri was exhausted and thought she would die here. The beast was impressed by her thirst for power, and it also wanted to escape from this sealed room. So it would serve her. Suzuri only needed it to serve her for 3 years because the Shimazu clan would choose a new leader then. At that time, she needed its power to prove that she was not weak and could protect those she loved. The covenant was made, and then she called Asano to wake up. As soon as he woke up, he saw the beast, which scared him. But from its appearance, he knew that Suzuri had succeeded in the ritual. She also asked Asano to give it a name, and the name chosen was Shiro. When they returned home, according to the report, the barrier in Izu had been destroyed, and important places had also been destroyed. They were planning to seal the spiritual power in Hufu Iod. The attacker was Namu. He seemed to be very strong because he easily broke the seal. Hearing this, Sakuya went to practice archery with him. It seemed that she was still worried about ISUCA's identity. Asano also followed her anxiously. He was worried that she would break the seal again, and that she would not bear everything alone. He was always there to help her with all her troubles. Asano's words made Sakuya feel a little better. At school, the two of them also faced each other. When it was time to go home, Sakuya still didn't want to. At this moment, Suzuri appeared to go home with him. On the way home, Asano asked if it was possible for 2 people to share the same identity. Suzuri said that it was possible. He could choose his name after the name of the most important person to him. When they got home, Siko reported that the defense of the house had been strengthened. If it was destroyed again, Isoko Hama would no longer be the spiritual leader. This time, Sakuya was not allowed to participate because she could not use her bow. If her spiritual power was taken away again, she would not be able to do anything. The plan this time was for Tama to lead the way, and Suzuri and Asano would attack. But Sakuya insisted that Asano not go to the front line. Then Kohan left. She forced him to stay here. There was no chance of survival on the battlefield, and Asano had nothing to do with the Shimazu family, so why should he participate? Sakuya was very afraid of losing Asano, but he had already decided to join everyone and had promised to help her find her mother. He couldn't keep saving her. He needed to become stronger. Then the group went to the church. Isoka was also waiting there. Her arm had also recovered. She asked where her companions were, but she was enough by herself. In another space, she had already captured Asano. She needed something from him and then disappeared. Before they could figure out what was going on, the church was attacked. The next day, a little girl came to Sakuya's house. Before Asano could ask, Sakuya said that it was her grandmother, and she was introduced inside. This was Shimazunami, the official leader of the Shimazu clan, and she was in charge of the entire clan. Don't judge a book by its cover. Even Tama was hiding outside now. She came here today to apologize for Sakuya's actions, because she was the only one who could seal the spiritual palace. Sakuya also felt very guilty, but her grandmother said it was okay, because she understood how Sakuya felt when the entire clan was against Asahina. Asano wondered what that was. Sushiro said that it was a clan, a famous Western sorcerer from centuries ago. It was also Sakuya's father's clan. Then her grandmother also completed the seal. As for the witch, Siko was sure that she was homunculus, created by humans. But it was not a human being, but an artificial life form. It was normal for the Asahina clan to use homunculus. If it was Asahina, then it was no wonder that the recent incidents were caused by them. The grudges between the two clans were easy to fade away. Sakuya wanted to solve this matter herself, because she really wanted to know about her mother. Seeing that her granddaughter was also determined, her grandmother agreed to let her. Then her grandmother and Asano went out to talk. She said that if Asano decided to stay with Sakuya, he would always face danger. If he wanted to return to his normal life, she could ask Asahina and the other sorcerers not to touch him anymore, but in return he would have nothing to do with Sakuya anymore. Of course, he refused. She was also very satisfied with his answer, and entrusted her granddaughter to him. Suddenly, from Asano's stomach, ISUCA Laoza and Damn Thang stabbed her grandmother. Everyone immediately appeared to help. At this moment, she summoned a giant snake. Everyone would take care of the snake, and Sakuya would settle this matter once and for all with her. At this moment, her grandmother was actually just a puppet. She said that she would regenerate herself later, and that Asano should protect his beloved girl. Everyone worked together to destroy the snake. But when they cut it, it shed its skin and became even tougher. In the sky, the priests and sorcerers were fighting each other. She wanted to ask for one of Sakuya's arms to repay her debt. But this time, it was not easy. Sakuya dodged the attack and gave her a hard blow. Too angry, she would kill Sakuya right away. Then she created many blades to surround her. Sakuya immediately cast a flying spell to dodge the attack. She fell down a building and was waiting to be rescued. Asano was not doing any better. When the snake kept attacking, Tama was also poisoned. He was worried about both Tama and Sakuya. At this moment everyone told him to go and help Sakuya. They could handle it here. Before Asano left, Tama asked for some spiritual power, and then transformed into another form. On Sakuya's side, the witch was still attacking. She would gouge out her eyes if she didn't surrender. With the pride of a leader, she would not surrender so easily. She let go of her hand and fell freely. Fortunately, Asano caught her in time. At this moment she also came down. Asano did not let her touch Sakuya. She was so angry that she said such nonsense. He said that he saved Sakuya for the snake, but it could not kill her. She said that she had wanted to kill her for a long time, but he kept saying that it was not the right time. Well, it didn't matter if she disobeyed him once. Then she fired a magic attack. Asano rushed out to block it, and fainted. He was a little weak, so everyone could understand. When Susuri killed it, it shed its skin again, and became even stronger. When they returned to Asano's group he had just woken up, and the two of them were fighting again. Sakuya had used up all her spiritual power, but she was still standing there. Then she approached and thought about how to attack. Then she decided to burn Sakuya's face. At this moment Asano appeared and pushed her away, but he was injured when he attacked. Seizing the opportunity, she grabbed him, and flew into the sky. Then she threw Asano into the air. She fired a fireball directly at him, but Sakuya rushed out to block it, and both of them were pushed away. Inside the house, Sakuya wanted him to leave because this battle was probably hers alone. The demon was only targeting her clan. He was an outsider, so he didn't need to get involved. But of course he refused to run away. He couldn't leave her alone. He knew that Sakuya was a clumsy person, and she also hated cooking. She needed someone to take care of her, but she was also very strong. Kind-hearted, Asano was very happy to meet her, but when the situation was getting worse, he confessed his love for her. Then the two kissed, their strength surged, and they continued to fight. This time Sakuya's attacks were different. They easily broke through the demon's defenses, but Susuri's side was not optimistic, because the snake was beating everyone up. But Susuri quickly found its weakness. Every time it attacked, it needed to recover its energy. Just aim at those points. Everyone started to fight. The big cat demon rushed up to take its attacks. Shiro's attack made Susuri furious and the snake disappeared, while Asano and Sakuya chanted a spell together. To launch a decisive blow, the two spells collided, and the demon was hit again. A painful wind attack? And it didn't need its hands anymore. Then it flew up to the sky to cast another spell. Sakuya planned to break the seal of the Holy Spirit sword. But Asano stopped her. Don't rely on it. Rely on me. Then the two joined forces, and Sakuya absorbed his spiritual power. The demon created 3 barriers, and Sakuya used her forbidden move, piercing through the 3 barriers, ending the demon once and for all. At this moment, the hidden man appeared and bowed his head. Sakuya realized that he was her father. The next day Sakuya told him everything. But no matter what, he would always be by her side. And in a hidden place, the man called ISUCA, and there were still many other clones around him. The anime also ended here. Goodbye everyone.